I remember my first ministry job. See, I'd come out of an internship and I had just started working at a church over in Kansas. And I remember like the first couple days, the first couple weeks just being so excited to walk into work. I mean, I was finally getting to do the thing that I believe that God had wired me to do, the thing that I was passionate about. And the crazy thing was they were actually going to pay me to get to do that. And I remember after a couple weeks, I'd been on staff and we had a monthly staff meeting. And so we gathered together as a team, and I really had no idea what to experience. I knew what my previous church, what we had done for staff meetings, but I didn't really know what to experience. And I walked in and we had a lead pastor who led all of our meetings, and his name was Dan. And Dan he was a big guy. He was a Texan. He wore his boots all the time. He had a cowboy hat. And he just kind of had that, like, that don't mess with Texas attitude to him. He was an older guy, and I absolutely loved working for Dan. And it was interesting because I walk in the staff meeting, and you could just tell the tone was different. It was something was strange. And so we did all the kind of church business, and then there was always kind of a message or like devotional piece. And Dan starts talking about Matthew 18. And not just the whole chapter, but there's a specific point in Matthew 18 where Jesus talks on how to deal with conflict. And specifically how Jesus asks us to deal with conflict, how we deal with rumors, how we deal with gossip, how we deal with judgment. He walks kind of through all these different things. And he starts talking about Matthew 18. And I'll never forget, he took off his boot at one point. And I don't remember what the context was, but it was like when he took off his boot and was talking about like kind of the don't tread on me, don't mess with Texas stuff, it was like we need to take what he's saying seriously. And so I walked away and kind of confused, but didn't think much of it. And then a couple months go by and we have another meeting, and the topic is once again Matthew 18. And so I started to kind of unpack, and as I had spent a little bit of time on our staff and around our staff, I realized that we had a major problem when it came to the issue of gossip, when it came to the issue of spreading rumors, when it came to the issue of talking about people behind their back, people you disagreed with, and how we handled those things. See, this week we're going to be in the second week of a series called In My Opinion, and over the next couple weeks, we're going to be talking about things like gossip and like judgment. Last week we talked a little bit about judgment, and I would really encourage you, if you missed last week, I would really encourage you to go back and check out the message, because I think these topics are things that are vitally, vitally important for you guys. And the truth is that when it comes to judgment, it comes to gossip, it comes to spreading rumors, you may not have ever dealt with a church staff or sat at a church staff meeting and had to deal with this idea of Matthew 18. But my guess is you've been a part of a situation where you've seen the destruction that rumors and gossip can create. I mean, maybe you remember a time in which you joined a new group of friends. You were around a group of friends. You were a part of a crew, and one person in that group of friends did something to another, and all of a sudden everybody was kind of picking sides and choosing their direction, and you were kind of stuck in the middle, but it was really awkward, and it did damage to the group of friends. Maybe you've seen a girl's life get destroyed because she did something with a guy that she wished she hadn't done, and the rumors and the gossip that got spread around. Or maybe you have seen the guy that's alone by himself at lunch or during class because the rumors and the gossip have destroyed his life, and he is just in complete and utter despair. And here's the thing, and I don't mean to take this super seriously. I know you're just checking this out on YouTube, but I need you to understand the gravity and the seriousness that gossip and spreading rumors can create. Because here's what we've seen in the last 10 to 12 years. Research shows us that the cases of teen suicide, of teen anxiety, of teen depression are exponentially growing. I mean, on times upon times upon times higher than they were 10 or 12 years ago. And I think there's a strong correlation between the rise of social media, things like Instagram and Snapchat, as well as those numbers. I think they work together because I think that social media gives us a platform to talk about others behind their back and not having to face them. And I need you to understand that there are stories, and you can go find them, of people who have ended their life or have found themselves in deep, deep, deep depression because of the rumors and the gossip and the things that people they thought were their friends or people they just went to school with spread about them. And so I need you to understand the gravity of what we're talking about here. Because I think a lot of times we just kind of brush gossip aside, right? Like, it's no big deal. Everybody talks this way. Everybody says things about each other. But you have no idea the people that you are talking about or the things you're saying about them, the effect it may have on them permanently and forever. And in a lot of ways, gossip can be a life or death thing. See, what I believe is, as a teenager, nothing destroys faster than gossip. I mean, it destroys organizations. That's what the church that I worked at was trying to deal with. It destroys relationships, and it destroys people. And it doesn't just destroy, it destroys with speed. It can cause destruction that is unrecoverable. You know, the series is called In My Opinion. And the danger with opinions is eventually opinions become our truth, right? Like, eventually your opinions about certain things become your truth. Like, if you believe that Chick-fil-A is the best fast food restaurant on the planet, that is going to be truth for you, right? Like, that is going to be the thing at which you believe that my truth is that Chick-fil-A is the best. Or you believe that Starbucks makes the best coffee. Then your truth is going to become, even though it's Post, everybody knows that, but your truth is going to become that Starbucks is the best coffee. If you believe that the Chiefs are the best team in football, your truth is going to become that your truth is that the Chiefs are the best team in football, right? Like, our opinions become our truths. Now, the danger about our truths is that eventually we start looking at the world saying that, and only taking in the things that lead us to our truth. So we start to think things and say things like, well, we find research articles that say that Chick-fil-A is the favorite restaurant of everybody, or Starbucks recently won an award for their coffee, or the Chiefs won the Super Bowl. So we start finding things and we become what I would say was very tunnel visioned. And we lose the ability to see other perspectives. And see, when we have opinions about people, when those become our truths, we lose the opportunity to see things differently. We lose the ability to see things from other people's perspective. And when we lose perspective and we start spreading rumors, those truths become truths for other people, and the destruction begins to grow rapidly. This week, we're not going to spend a whole lot of time in Scripture. I know that sounds weird, but I've got one verse that I want us to focus on this week. And the reason I'm only picking one is because I want you to focus on this one. And maybe for you, you need to create a home screen on your cell phone where you see this. Maybe you need to put it on your mirror when you wake up in the morning. Maybe you need to put it on your car steering wheel. Maybe you need to put it on the background of your Chromebook that you have at school. Whatever you have, wherever you see, wherever you're the most prone to gossip, find a way to put this verse as a part of that. Ephesians 4:29. Don't use foul or abusive language. Let everything you say be good and helpful, so that your words will be an encouragement to those who hear them. Let everything. See, the thing you might be tempted to do is it's Ephesians 4:29. Maybe verse 30 says, well, let everything unless the gossip's true. Like, unless she actually did that with that guy, or he actually did that. Like, unless it's true, then just, like, you can say those. Or unless, like, let everything be good unless that person has hurt you, or unless that person has said things about you, or unless the story is really good. Like, you've got that piece of gossip that's really good, you got to share it with all your friends. But it doesn't say that. It says, let everything you say be good and uplifting to other people. You see, here's the danger. When it comes to gossip, a lot of times it's about evening the score, right? Like it's about, they said something about your friend or they said something about you, and now it's my opportunity to get back at them. Like they did something, and now it's my opportunity to get back at them. Or it's even worse. It's all about elevating ourselves, right? Like we want to look better. Like everybody loves the person who has the news, right? Everybody loves the person who's breaking, like, oh my gosh, did you hear about? Like we love being in that position. But the danger is that a lot of times it comes down to us keeping score, about elevating ourselves, and that somehow if we have the best rumor or we have the best slam or we have the best whatever, it becomes about elevating ourselves. And here's what I need you to know. You need to understand that being a Christian is not about keeping score. Because here's the deal. If Jesus kept score, he would have never gone to the cross. Like the score was infinite sin of human, 0 sin of Jesus. So if it was all about keeping score, Jesus would have gone, y'all figure it out for yourself, I'm out. But he didn't. You see, so often following Jesus means we take the higher road. It means we sacrifice our own self-interest for the interests of others. It means we take the word seriously, consider others better than yourselves. And so often we allow this idea of keeping score, we allow what somebody has done to us in the past to creep into what we say about them today and tomorrow. And the gossip and the rumors and the things that we spread destroy people's lives. I remember years ago, I had a student in my student ministry named Taylor, and Taylor was the all-American girl, right? Like she was a cheerleader. She was the captain of the cheerleading squad at her high school. She was a bubbly, fun high school junior. And as I got to know Taylor, I realized that really being a cheerleader for her was kind of like her whole life's dream. When she was 3, 4, 5 years old, every year for Halloween, she dressed up as a cheerleader, and she loved kind of the whole thing about cheer and being a part of that and dressing up and the hair and the makeup and all the things that come with being a cheerleader. And as she got into high school, her desire to be a cheerleader led her into some unhealthy areas. And I remember a specific time that she reached out to me, and she had told me that, hey, I have been struggling with an eating disorder. And we kind of worked through that with her. Parents were getting her in some counseling, and nobody really knew about it except for me in terms of our church. And we were trying to just kind of get her back together, help her understand that, she was more than what her body was, and being a cheerleader and all those things comes with all sorts of pressure to make sure that you're in shape and you look a certain way and all those things that are just so destructive for young women. And I remember a Sunday morning, we were kind of on the backside of all that. We had kind of moved on. Taylor was doing well. She was healthy and eating well and still in great shape and still being a cheerleader and all those things. And she had confided in another cheerleader that she had struggled. I don't remember all the story details, but I believe she was trying to help this girl. And the girl was going through something similar, and the girl ran to a bunch of other girls on the team, and all of a sudden the rumor mill and the gossip mill just started churning. And Taylor came in on a Sunday morning, and I could just tell something was off with Taylor. And I said, Taylor, what's wrong? And she just started sobbing. And we started talking about and unpacking, and Taylor, for her senior year, quit cheerleading because it had become so destructive for her. And what's so fascinating about that story is she was beyond it, right? Like the eating disorder was in her past, and she was sharing it to help somebody, and somebody took that piece of information and they ran to a circle of friends, and all of a sudden the rumors and the gossip just started flowing to a point where Taylor felt so isolated, so uncomfortable that she had to walk away from the thing that she believed she had destined to do since she was 3 or 4 years old. And it was something in her past. It wasn't even something that was going on at that time. We need to understand the weight that our words carry. Next week, we're going to talk about the tongue. We're going to talk about the danger that the tongue presents to our friends and our relationships. So here's what I want to do in just the last couple minutes. I want to give you two filters. Before you think about saying the rumor, spreading the rumor, talking about that person, I want you to think about these couple of things. The first one is simply, before you say anything, you need to ask yourself this question. If I share this, will this in any way benefit me? Because here's the thing. When it comes to gossip, typically it's one of two motives. It's either getting back at somebody or it's elevating our social status. And in both situations, we're not doing anything to help the person. We're just wanting to do something to help ourselves. And see, a lot of times in the Christian world, this gets blurry because the terms gossip and judgment can get blurred with the term accountability, right? Like I was telling them what this person was doing because I want them to help me hold this person accountable, right? Like we justify it that way. When the truth is really that we're wanting to seem cooler or better or elevate our social status with that person. In the meantime, we're destroying somebody else's life. We really don't care as long as our situation is getting elevated. And I truly believe if we ask ourselves that, 99.9% of gossip will disappear. But what about that one time that I need to hold my friend accountable? I heard they're Christian, and I heard they were out with their boyfriend, and they were doing this, and I need to talk to them. Then we apply Matthew 18, which is what that staff meeting was all about. I know it well. Matthew 18 challenges you to have the conversation with the person one-on-one. So if it passes and you say it's not going to benefit me in any way, shape, or form, then the next step is to say, have you talked to that person one-on-one before you share it with anybody? And the only way that Matthew 18, that Jesus gives you permission to share it with somebody else, is if that person completely rejects you. You come to them and say, hey, I heard that you were at this party. I just want to challenge you as somebody who loves Jesus just like you do. I don't think that's a place for you to be. And if they say, whatever, man, get out of my life. It's not none of your business. Then you bring somebody else in. But when we go into a situation where we're bringing something to somebody and our only focus is their well-being, it changes our approach. Allows us to disarm rather than make somebody defensive. My hope is that this time that you've spent here, just a little bit of time on YouTube, is you understand the gravity of the words, of the things you say about people. And that maybe we can become a people who don't gossip, who rise above it, and who really love people the way that Jesus loved us, which is in no way keeping score. Let's pray. God, I pray for our schools. God, that the words, the things, the rumors we spread, Lord, they're so destructive and leave people broken and feeling like they're completely isolated and that nobody cares about them. And so, Jesus, I pray for any students that are tuning into this. God, they can honestly ask themselves those questions of when they feel the need to share. Does it benefit me in any way? And if it does, Jesus, my prayer is your Spirit will give them the strength to stop, to walk away, and to think about where they go from there. God, thank you for just the opportunity that we have each week to gather, to talk about you, to grow in who you have created us to be. We love you and praise in your name. Amen. Hey, thanks for hanging out with us on YouTube. Hey, again, man, we miss seeing a lot of you guys. I know that COVID stuff is still crazy. Schedules are nuts. But man, if there is anything I can do, please, you guys know how to get in touch with me. I would love nothing more than to be there for you guys. Love you so much. I hope you guys have an awesome week, and we'll talk soon. See ya.